Krypton Episode 9 Hope. So, this episode, of course, is the penultimate episode of our very first season, and I would definitely say it was a good one. Definitely a crazy one, a lot of stuff that I wasn't expecting. It was kind of like, we have to basically just choose sides, but both sides are meant to, kind of help save Kandor as well as all of Krypton. And it was very interesting the way it was done because we have kind of like our Zod family struggle, which just everything that happened in this episode was kind of just like, okay, so they're working with them now, and then this whole family is now fighting each other. We also find out that Seg actually is Zod's father. So I was like, oh, okay, so that is their futures. They're kind of like destined to be together. Unfortunately, the one thing that I was like super curious about, we have to wait for the finale, which is where and when Adam Strange is. So we gotta wait for that for next week. But everything they did, I thought was super cool. Them going up against Brainiac, of course, him not actually dying once again, but they did what they could. They were going in. It's like, all right, we got these two sides teaming up. We have to move Doomsday, so we can't let Zod use it. But then that leads Lyta and Jaina to end up having an argument, and then that leads to Jaina and Zod actually doing the fight to the death, which I wasn't expecting. And then Lyta shoots her mom, and then her mom takes off, so we don't know where she ended up by the end of the episode. But now it's like Zod and Lyta are teamed up together, so it's just like, all right, this is kind of crazy. And so it's like, I'm definitely on Jaina's side. And she was the one who had to convince Seg, where it's like she knows that Zod, having been in the Phantom Zone and how he really wants to lead through control rather than actually helping the people, he's willing to use Doomsday and just be like, go nuts and destroy Brainiac. But it's a power that was they believed was out of his control, so it would have just been worse than just teaming up to naturally take out Brainiac, which excuse me, it's hard to say if they were right, because considering as soon as they got there, it's like, all right, we got our whole army aimed on Brainiac. And normal TV stuff, nobody ever realizes when someone else is being controlled. And the whole time it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you turning the gun on me? And then the two sides turn on each other, and it's like, hey, Seg's trying to calm everybody down. It's like, hold on, like, he's like, I can't control. The guy's even saying like, I can't control myself. He's being controlled and everything. And it's just like, okay, well, they weren't paying attention. They also kind of didn't know what they were going up against. And so one gun goes off, which they blew that guy's head off. I was kind of surprised by that, but blew the guy's head off, and then everybody's just killing everybody. And then it's gonna come down to Seg, where he's about to get killed, but he gets saved. Brainiac, that form of him at least is officially destroyed. The voice of Rao body, I guess. He's completely wiped out, and then we have like sort of classic style Brainiac. He's got like the suit on and everything, full green and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool to have that as going into the season finale. So I was excited about that, but everything was pretty much nuts. Like, a bunch of stuff just kept going wrong. Everybody was turning on everybody, or there'd be like, quick team ups, and then that would be, fall apart because of the Brainiac thing. So I really like what they did. I'm very curious how they're going to go into this season finale, and definitely the Adam Strange stuff, how that ends up connecting to anything, if he is in the present, if he's on Earth, what's going on. Because even in the promo, it seemed like people were still kind of frozen in time. So there's just a lot there, or they're at least frozen in place, because we saw that the woman did look at him, so their bodies are frozen, but they aren't like actually, he's not like moving at super speeds, or he hasn't stopped time, he's just there. Everyone else is like frozen in place. So I can't wait to find out the answer to that. But it seemed like a simple episode. Like, I feel like there's so much specific stuff to talk about, but it all kind of just comes down to Jaina and Seg were like, all right, well, we gotta move we have to move Doomsday, because if Zod uses it, it'll actually be worse than just destroying Brainiac. He might, that might work, but then we have this the whole point of, Doomsday is he's unstoppable. So it's like, we can't let Zod do that, and plus all he wants to really do is take control anyway, so he can be the leader. And it was just interesting. I was like, all right, well, you have, there's three different generations, and it's like, all right, well, does this woman choose her future or future time traveling son, or does she choose her mother? And then she had some stuff going back against her mom, where she's talking about all you ever did was raise me through fear and stuff like that. So it's like, well, of course, her being raised that way, that's why she would side with Zod. And it's just like a lot of different stuff, and I was like, man, I just thought they did a good job kind of leading into the finale. And everyone had their plan, and then things just fell apart. Really, technically, everything fell apart on both sides. The Doomsday stuff didn't work for Zod and Lyta, but then of course you have Jaina fighting against Zod. I'm sure Jaina didn't believe that she would be shot, even though she was about to win that fight and Zod was about to die. Lyta shoots her mom, and so she has to take off. Seg is, now doing things by himself with these two different sides. Seemingly, everything's working out pretty well. And then that, of course, falls apart with Brainiac, but Seg gets saved. I can't even remember the one guy's name. Like, the dude who was working under Brainiac, the whole thing was him in prison, and then he escapes. Honestly, I barely even remember his storyline in the episode. I remember he escaped, and I can't even remember what he did after that. I felt it was, like, so irrelevant, but obviously, him escaping is a big deal. But it was just like, yeah, he seemed to have, like, not much relevance. He was captured, and then he made his way out, and it was just like, okay. I feel like his whole storyline was so separated, it just felt like not much happened. Like, he interacted with characters that interacted with the others, but it was just like, he's in prison, and then he escaped, and it just felt like not much really happened there. And then he kind of didn't escape, because now I remember, they don't technically show what happened to him, because the one was like, oh, he escaped, and she just hit the button, and it just messed him up. And I don't know if it was affecting the entire ship, because the other guy was flying, because I remember he was like, I'll make you super rich, and he was trying to fly somewhere else. And then it seemed like when she pushed the button, it affected the entire ship and not just him, and like the ship crashed or something. So if I recall, after that, we don't find out what happens to him either. So maybe he'll end up running into Jaina, and they'll both be like wounded and teaming up again. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but definitely enjoyed this episode. I'm very excited to see what in the world they're gonna do with this finale. If they're gonna, I don't know if they'll officially kill Brainiac, but the whole thing is that the show is like changing the timeline and what's meant to be the history of Superman and all of Krypton as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to how they change what's meant to be the known history of Superman and what this version is going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, least favorite parts about it, and of course with the finale coming up, I would love to know your predictions, what you guys want to see in general for this. I think it would be really cool just to see how they deal with the Brainiac thing, because they could kill him. I don't know, it's so hard to say. It's like everything that's so different with the series is like, maybe they would kill Brainiac. I mean, they already had the Doomsday thing just as a reveal, like, holy crap, there's Doomsday. So it's just like a million questions where it's like, they wouldn't do that because that's supposed to be the history, but then it's like, the whole point of this series is that they're changing the normal history. So Kandor does have to be taken in order for Superman to exist, because otherwise that would kind of, in a sense, it would defeat the purpose of the show, but not really, because at some point maybe Adam Strange would kind of become the villain and be like, I'm sorry, but I have to wipe everything out, or I have to at least get rid of Kandor. So that's where the big question comes in. Are they going to save Kandor and truly change the entire history of it, or will Kandor be taken? Like, will they decide that all these all these generations later, all these different species that they aren't even remotely aware of, that's more important than the people they're dealing with now? Because the whole point of this episode was like, now let's kill Brainiac. So will they just not be able to stop him is the big question. And then who lives after that? So a lot up in the air, but like I said, I would love to know your predictions for the season finale and just what you guys want to see. So please put your comments down in the comment section below, and of course, thanks for watching.